Welcome back, guys. This is the second tutorial in this series on how to create these portfolio template. So if you haven't watched the first video, please go back to the first video before you come to this one. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to comment and like the video, and also click the notification icon to get notifications when our next video is being released. So guys, let's get to it. In this part of this tutorial, we are going to be working on the services section, the portfolio section, and I'll try as much as possible to see if we can finish this template today. So let's get to it, guys. So we're going to be creating our services section. In here, we're going to have a div with a class of centered text, and it's going to hold. I'm going to put services here. Services. I'm going to put h3. Here I'm going to put what we do, right? And here I'm going to have another div that's going to be the services div, the services main, and in here I'm going to have three divs, and each of them is going to be having a .bg div plus dot service card, okay, so let's give it a class of service inner. So this is going to be used for the background on hover. So I have another section here. This services main, I'm just going to call this single service, and I'm going to make this services inner. So here we need a span. I'm going to use user here, and we have a h3 that says UX UI designer. You have a P. With this, I'm going to go grab this lorem ipsum text. I'm going to come back here and paste it in. Sorry about that, guys. This text here, let's see. I'm going to paste that in, and we have an anchor that says more. So I'm going to copy paste this 3 times. Yeah, so here I have web design and game design, right? Right, so if we go back to our page, just this one, and refresh, we'll see that it's displaying here. So now we're going to go to our CSS and try and style it. So our services section, going to have a padding. I forgot one thing, guys. This whole thing is going to be wrapped inside our container div, so I'm going to add it inside our container so that it's going to be aligned in the center with a class of container. If I go back and refresh, you would see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it can be aligned on the screen. with the other elements. So now I'm going to give it a padding of top. I'm going to give a padding of top. I would say 0. Left right is going to be 0. Top bottom, let's say 3 rem, like this. Let's refresh. Yeah, we could see that it's taken effect. Yep. So I'm gonna give it a background of var. Let's see, I think we have dark RPG. Yeah, so I'm going to give it in the color of white. Let's go back, refresh. Okay, all right, so I think we'll use the first one, dark beige, instead. Yeah, let's refresh. Yeah, we could see the color transition. So now, sorry about that, guys. So now I want to style this section of it, the text center, right? So I'm going to give this services. I'm going to use this as a class because I'm going to be using it more often. This is small header, and I'm going to give it a class of main header because it's going to be appearing on every section. If you come here, you see what I'm saying. You see there's this small header and bigger header here, and this small header and bigger header. So I don't want to keep restyling those, so I'm going to give it a style here in our CSS. So let's say small header, the color of BG accent dark. Let's see that. Small header, that's H5. Oh, sorry, this is a variable, BG accent dark, and give it a font size of 1 rem. Let me see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to increase the size of the font. Okay, so I'm going to make the size like this. Give this line height and give this margin bottom. So I'll copy the same styles for the above and come paste them here. Yeah, so let me remove this. Let's refresh. You could see. So I'll get for the H5 also, for the H2. I'm going to come back here and say main header. I'm going to paste that here. Sorry about that. Let's make this main header. Yeah, we're still small, so we're going to give it a font size of 3 rem. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty similar. Here we can make it 2.5. Yeah, so I think it's cool. And give it a margin bottom of 2 rem. Make it 3. Let's see. I think 3 is okay. So if you remember, there is a div here with a class of text center, so we're going to center everything in that div. So we're just going to come here and say text center and say text align, make it center. If we go back, we'll see that it is taking effect. So right now, we want to style this services main container. So the services main, I'm going to say display grid and grid template columns. I'm going to say repeat 3 times 1fr, and if we refresh and go back, you'd see so I want to say grid gap. Let's say 1 rem. Yeah, and each of the service we're going to give a single, we're going to style the single service now. So each single service is going to have a background of image of variable bg Dakar. Is it Dakar bj? Yeah, so refresh now. Let's see what I'm talking about. And we want to give each single service a padding of 1.3 rem. Yeah, all right, so let's increase the padding to 1.5. Yeah, so it's making sense. And we want all the texts to be centered. Refresh now. Yeah, we can see the changes. So here I want to change the icons in this place. I want to say link for this, and I'm going to say game for this. Let's see how it looks. All right, fine. So now each single service has a span, which is the one holding the icon. We want to give it a font size of 3 rem. So I'm gonna see that. Yeah, so we're gonna give it a font color of bg accent dark. Let's refresh that. Yep, let's say bg, sorry, let's use the bg accent. Is it that one? Yep. So and then each single service has a h3. I think it's a h3, right? Yeah, h3. So I'm gonna give it a font size of 2 rem. Let's see how it looks. I think it's too big, 1.7. I think it's looking pretty similar to this one. Yeah, I'm going to give it a margin top bottom 1, left right 0. Yeah, so let's proceed. Yeah, I think we're done with that. So we're going to style the paragraph text service p. We're going to give it a line height of say 2 rem. Let's see how that looks. I think the line height is too much. We're going to say 1.5 for example, and see. I think that's better. I'll give it a margin bottom of, let's see, no, 2 rem, 1 rem. Yeah, 1.2. Yeah, I think that's cool. I want to increase the padding on the single service card. The padding for the top. Let's repeat this 1.5 rem. So for top bottom, I want to make it 2. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's increase 2.5. Okay, I want to make it 3. Yeah, so I think that is okay, but I want this only the middle one here to have a background, right? So I'm going to remove the background from this guys. So I give the middle one a class of active. So I'm going to say single service that have a class of active. I want to give it a background of the car VG. Yeah, so if we go back and refresh, you'd see that it has a background now. So for the other text, inside this single service, there's an A tag. There's an A. If you check, you see an anchor tag here. So we're going to give it a color of BG accent. So let's see how that looks. Single service, sorry. Yeah, so let's increase the font size to like 1.3 rem and see. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's too. Yeah, let's see 1.1. Yeah, let's leave it that way. So now I want to add the hover effect we have here. So first, I'm gonna add so the secret behind that is this is going to be relative. Let's say we're going to give this a position of relative, and if you check, you see I added a div with a BG class. So let's style that. So first I'm going to be styling the single service that has the active class attached to it, and I want to style the BG for that. So I'm going to say height, let's say 80%. First I want to give it a position of absolute. Let's give it a background image. I'm going to be using a linear gradient. I'm going to make it 50 degree. I'm just going to grab these two colors here. And give it a right of say 5%, and the left of bottom. I'm going to say minus, and bottom of minus 5% also. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so I'm going to give it a height of 100% and a width 100% for stylus. So let's see how that looks. Let's refresh. You can see it's shown here, but it's on top the div, on top the main. So let's give it a Z index of 0. Let's see how it looks now. Okay. So guys, what we need to do is I forgot about one thing. I want to show you something. If you see right here, there is the services inner, right? So here, let's do some styling on services inner so you understand what I'm talking about. If I give it a background of red, you'd see that it's not fully it is not taking up the entire width of the container, and that's because we give this single service a padding. So I'm going to cut the padding from here and I'm going to paste it here in services inner. So if I check, you'd see that it's now reflecting. So another thing that I want to do is I want to take this. Okay, so I'm going to remove the background here, and I'm going to give, instead of this single service active, right, I'm going to say the active single service active, single service active, the services that okay, so what I'm trying to say is any single service that has a class of active, I want the services inner to have a background of the stack bg, right? So if I come back here and refresh, you'd see that everything has come back to the way it was before. So now what I want to do is I want to give this a position, its own position relative, and give it a z index of say 5, so that it will be on top of this. So you could see that it's working now, right? So so I'm going to come back here and style the BG. I'm going to go back and style the BG. I want it to have a height of 80% and a width of 80% also. So let's see how that looks now. So not too good, not too good. So let's say a right of 2% and a bottom of 2%. Let's refresh, looking a bit better. Right, I'm going to increase the width to 90. So let's see how that looks also. I think that's looking good. I'm going to increase this to 90 also, and I'm going to make this 3% each. So let's refresh. So I think it's making sense. Yeah, so I think we've gotten what we wanted. So now I'm going to make it, when you hover on any of these, it is going to apply the same style on it. So let's go back to, so I want to say single service. When you hover on single service, right, these are the styles that I would like to apply, right? So let's see if that works. If I do it this way, single service, if we hover, I want the BG to also have the same styles. So let's refresh and see. All right. So I'm going to take this, and also I want to say when you hover on single service, when you hover on it, I want to attach this stack background to the services inner in that div, services inner. Yeah, so if I come back here and refresh, you'd see that it's working now. So it's working. So it's too close. When I hover, I want to increase the gap of the grid. So yeah, so let's come here and say 2. Let's refresh. Yeah, you see there's better spacing now. So I think we're done with the services section. Now let's move to the portfolio section. So for the portfolio section, if I click on this, you'd see that there is like a gallery kind of image display stuff. So what I used for this is FancyBox, jQuery FancyBox. So we're going to be including jQuery FancyBox on our portfolio section, but before then, let's go to our portfolio section and style it. So So now let's start our portfolio section. So we're going to be repeating pretty much all this stuff. So I'm going to copy, then come here and paste it. So here I'm going to say portfolio, right? And here I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close the section. So here I'm going to say portfolio, use capital letter, and here I'm going to say our work. So next we're going to have the grids here that are displaying the images, these grids. Yeah. So I'm going to say gallery box, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to call it gallery box. And in here we're going to have a div that takes which div is going to take yeah, so I think in order to use this jQuery FancyBox, there's going to be like an anchor. This stuff you'll be clicking on is an anchor. So most of the images I'm going to make it in the way that they are going to be background images. So I'm going to use an A and an A. Yeah, so each anchor I want to put in a span TI, let's say camera. Let's see how that looks. Let's see how that looks for now. Sorry about that. Enter. Yeah, let's refresh. I could see here. And so now let's replicate this like 5 times, for example. Yeah, so if I come back to my CSS now, I want to style. I'm going to say the portfolio section is going to have a padding of 3 rem top bottom. Sorry guys, okay, the container is here. So padding top bottom 3 rem, left right 0. Let's give it a background of this is for I think dark BG. Yeah, so let's refresh. So we're gonna give the color white. So refresh. Yeah, it's making sense. So oh guys, sorry. So here I did a mistake. All these other ones are going to be gallery items. I'm just gonna cut these guys out. Let's cut this out and say div.gallery box, and the gallery box is going to hold gallery items. So we can add this now. We can add this. We need to duplicate this in 5 places now. 5. So now I'm going to style the gallery box. Give it display of grid and grid template columns. I'm going to say repeat 5 times 1FR, and grid template rows property. I want this to be I want this to repeat, say 2 times 100 pixel. Let's see. So for the rows, I'm just going to, sorry about that, I'm going to say 250 pixel. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think it's making sense. So let me come back here, and for now let's give each gallery item a background, right? so you can see what we're starting. Background of blue, for example. If we go back here, and you can see. So let's give a grid gap of 1 rem. Let's say 2 rem. No, that's too much. 1. Let's make it 1. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think 5 is kind of too much in one row, so I'm just going to say 4 here. Let's refresh. Yeah, so you could see that. See that? So I'm going to here, let me say repeat. Let's see, we're gonna have 2 rows. Yeah, so you can see that. Alright, so what's next is for us to add background images. I'm going to reduce this to like 220. Yeah, I think it's okay like that. So I'm going to remove that blue, and each of them are going to have a background image. So I'm going to add background size of cover and background repeats. No repeat. So in there is this anchor, right? This div that is holding this anchor. So yeah. So I want to style that. I'm going to say the gallery item div, comma, gallery item, the anchor. I want to give them a height of 100% and the width of 100%. And so for the anchor, I'm going to give a display of block. So then I'm going to give it a background of RGBA 0.5. So let's see how that looks right now. Well, you can see it, and I'm going to get a font size of 3 rem and get a text of center. Right? Or let's do it this way. Let's do a display of flex, align items, center, and justify content center. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, you can see, and I want to give it a color of white. Yep. Yeah. So let's go back here. So I'm going to add the background images to these guys individually. So I'm going to say background style background image URL. So I'm going to be adding some of the images I have here inside the portfolio. So I'm going to say go to images folder, go to portfolio and select 1.jpg. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, you can see we are coming up. So here I'm going to copy this guy and I'm going to paste it on on each of them. While I'm changing all this to 2 to 3, change this, select 4, and change this to 5. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's making sense, but alright, so guys, we could see that our gallery here takes up the whole space. So what we need to do is we're going to remove it from the container. You see this container element here, I'm going to cut it out so that the gallery takes the entire space. So I'm going to say container. I've cut that out. So if I come back here and refresh, yeah, so but we need to have 5 items on a row and need some padding here on the left and right side. So we're going to go back to our portfolio and see left and right, give it a 1. Yeah, so and then this is going to repeat 5 times. So let's refresh. Yeah, we could see there everything is coming in great. So I'm going to reduce the gap between the grids. Grid gap, let's say 0.7. Yeah, so next let's add some more images. Let's add some more images. But before then, let's add the gallery, the jQuery gallery that I was talking about, the fancy apps gallery. So here I'm going to also come back here and increase the size to 250, the height of each grid item. So yeah, it looks better. So now I'm going to add fancy apps. It's called fancy apps. So you could see there's a lightbox library for presenting various types of media. So it's very easy to integrate. All you need to do is add this data FancyBox to the anchor tag. If you remember, I have an anchor tag, and you're going to also add a link to the image you want to show. And then these are the dependencies. You have to add jQuery. So I'm going to add jQuery now. So these are our CDN links, so I'm going to be using them. You can download them if you want. So here I'm going to say, so CDN just means content delivery network. What it does is it just gives you an easy access to, for example, normally you're supposed to download the script, but I don't need to since it's hosted somewhere online. So I just get the links and I add it to my code, to my project. So the advantage of this is that there's faster access. You know, but the disadvantage is, as a beginner, you're going to have an issue with the internet. If you don't have internet, then you cannot use CDN. It's better you download it. So I'd advise that most of you do download that, but for me, I'm comfortable using the CDN. So I'm going to add the jQuery here below in our body section, and I'm also going to add this style.css up in my styles. Yeah, so I'm going to add it here. So next I'm going to add this other script below my body section. It has to be below jQuery. So you paste it here, and all that's left is for us to add this data FancyBox attribute to all the anchor tags that we have here, right? So I'm going to be adding them, and not forgetting to add the href here, right? Yeah, so let's first of all add this to all the anchors, data FancyBox, data FancyBox. Yeah, so next, so let's add the images to the href tags. So here we have 2, here we're going to be having 3, here we'll have 4, accessing the 4 images. So try as much as possible to ensure that the background image is shown here is the same image that is in this in the hypertext reference. So here I'm going to make it 5. So let's refresh and see whether our dependency has been installed. So if I click on this, yeah, you could see that. So we've successfully added jQuery FancyBox. So let's, we have up to 9 images. I'm going to add like 3 more. So I'm going to change this to 6 and change this to 6, change this to 7, and here to 7, and here to 8, and this to 8 also. So let's refresh, and there you have it, guys. That's our portfolio section. So next, what's left is the testimonial section and the newsfeed section. So guys, I think we've had a pretty long video, so I'm going to stop here and we're going to continue in the next video. Thank you.